Anthony Adebayo. We off the record.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. We off the record. Anthony Adebayo. We off the record. And the most accurate sports coverage. We off the record. Scotty B's Fantasy 5. We off the record. We off the record.
We're different from any other sports.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B. We off the record. We off the record. Yeah, we here.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing swell. This is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
It's your boy Scotty B.
I'm over here dropping stuff.
So what's up, man? You've had a very eventful week, man. You want to tell the people, man?
So first I want to say congratulations to Nair again. He got married this week. That's one of our good friends. Got married in Seattle. So I was in Seattle from Thursday up until Monday, and it was great, man. Seattle's expensive. Yeah, absolutely. At least where I was at, it was expensive. I was paying $55 a day for parking. But yeah. I
Run that back. Yo. The park at a hotel was $55.
Yeah, I was by the water, and so it was $55, man. Look, I bet you if you would have knew. Look, my room was only $120. It was crazy.
So like you're the second person to tell me that today. Indirectly, I was watching 90 Day Fiance.
You always do it indirectly. You always watch 90 Day Fiance.
Well, no. I had took a break, but like the new episodes like went Monday. I mean, we've been busy with the battleground, so like Monday and Tuesday and Sunday, I've been missing it for like the past 6 months. So, Snow, I'm off work. I'm looking up, and the guy said the same thing. He was talking about how he was in debt, but he wanted to make an impression on it. And he said that the rooms went for like $400 to $500 a day for like a real nice room, and then you're telling me about the parking for $55. I'm like, God dang, I didn't know Seattle was like that.
So I'll say this. I got another reason why I think that I don't think I would want to live there. I think I need to go visit there on a separate occasion. The Seahawks played at home this weekend, and I would have went. I don't care. I wouldn't have cared if they was playing the Jets. And I wasn't far from the stadium, but of course they're not having any fans. So I was a little disappointed about that. The crazy thing is that you always hear about rain in Seattle, and aside from Sunday morning, and when I landed, it didn't rain at all. It was sunny the whole time. It was cold, but it was sunny the whole time. And I said, man, I was expecting rain. I was expecting rain and dreary weather, but I don't know if it was because of the wedding or what. But it was nice. The wedding was nice, and then we can talk about the battlegrounds real quick, before we get into the sports thing. So as everybody knows, we have our battles, and we're doing like our little playoffs right now. And I had to go while I performed while I was in Seattle. So we had the battle while I was in Seattle, and I won. And then of course I came home, and one of our other guys they had a battle, and I was like quarantining for a couple of days. I had to take my test and all of that stuff, and I'm like. It was crazy. I felt I couldn't wait to get home today. Like, man, I was like, I finally get to sleep in my own bed. I get to see my kids and I get to hug them and do all this stuff that I couldn't do for almost a week. So it's been a hectic week, and I'm happy to be back now.
Nah, definitely, man.
And the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys won. So the Cowboys had got my Niners this weekend. I know you got the Cowboys. I got the Niners. It's going to be an interesting game. Doesn't mean
what's crazy? Yo, cut you off. Yo, they kicked us off of Sunday Night Football. Yo, we got kicked off of Sunday Night Football, man. That's how bad it is now, man.
I will say this, right? And I won't leave the Cowboys alone. Ezekiel Elliott, I'm officially done with you in fantasy football. I rode with Ezekiel Elliott all year, and he was probably the man. Words can't describe the disappointment he was this year to me.
Damn.
And watch next year, he'll have a good year, but I won't know unless he's playing against me because I'm so done with Ezekiel Elliott.
I mean, when you have the injuries that they've had on the O-line, I mean that's gonna play a part. But aside from that, I mean, yeah, it has been a disappointing season. Yeah, you ain't telling nobody. I know. So
here's the thing with Zeke, right? Zeke commands the money of a top back. I think right now he might even be the highest paid back in the league. And
here we go.
I think no. We do got to talk about this, and there's no shade to the Cowboys. Hindsight is 2020, right? So at the time, like when they were trying to get deals done and they were trying to sign people and get them locked up, Ezekiel Elliott was the piece that made the most sense to sign, right?
He's right there. He's right there.
Yeah, he made the most sense. A lot of people are giving Jerry Jones bad reviews about that, but at the time, he was arguably the top back in football, so they had to get that deal done. It's just Ezekiel Elliott hasn't lived up to his end of the deal. This year, man, year he was terrible. Yeah.
Are we gonna hold this year? I think everybody should get a pass this year. Honestly,
nah, man, there ain't no passes when you a top back, man.
Why?
There ain't no passes,
all top backs have had an issue. Nick, you tell me a top back that's never had like a down year, one part of their career or another.
This Joker probably ain't going to break. He's probably not even going to break 1,000 yards.
Look,
and he's got the most fumbles on this season. He's got 5 fumbles.
I agree. I agree with
he's
that.
Putting that ball. 4 of them have been lost. Yeah, come on, man. You can't be inefficient. Yeah, it's just.
But with that being said, and I'm not going to make excuses for him. He'll probably get to 1,000. Well, we got 4 games left. He got 8 and some change. He'll more than likely
get to 1,000. He'll get to 1,000.
And I mean, and the thing is, if he has a good game this weekend, then I mean, I'm not saying all is back. He's back in good graces, but you got to think, man. His starting line, his old line has been treacherous this year. It's been terrible, and I think that's the big, even more than that, not being there. I think that's the bigger issue. That doesn't excuse his fumbling. His fumbling, I think, was him for the most part. With some of them, him trying to do more. He was trying to put the team on his back, and unfortunately, he fumbled the ball. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's just a bad season. It's an off year. We'll see what happens come next year, because next year there won't be any excuses. You can't have 2 back-to-back. One, I give you a pass, and that's with anybody. That's with Gurley, with Le'Veon Bell, with any of the top backs. You think you name one, I can tell you. Oh man, Adrian Peterson had some down years. I had a couple down years. So how does he bounce back? And that's going to be the bigger story is how does he, because we all know this season it's crazy. Yeah, they can still win, but they're not going to win the division. It's going to be either Washington or New York, and more than likely it's going to be Washington. I think that even though they lost to the Giants twice. I think that they're probably going to win, even if they win 1 out of 2 games. The next 3 games, they're going to win a division.
So right now, who's in your running for MVP?
So I know everybody's saying Mahomes and Rodgers. So of course, the media pretty much drives this train, right? And even all day we've heard Mahomes and Rodgers. don't you're gonna look at me crazy when I say this, but Josh Allen should be mentioned.
Absolutely.
Josh Allen. As much as they're talking about Mahomes and Rodgers, they should be talking about Josh Allen, because I mean he is having a hell of a year, and I think he's past Russell Wilson. You know what I'm saying? So right now, I think if you had to like name them, it's 1, 2, and 3, and I think Josh Allen is third. But he's not getting the media attention that Rodgers or Mahomes is having.
Yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry is having a phenomenal year. Dalvin Cook is having a phenomenal year. Travis Kelce is having a phenomenal year for a tight end, but he's not getting the coverage because Mahomes is throwing him the ball. Yeah,
and he's not a quarterback. I mean, so that's unfortunate, because he may get Offensive Player of the Year. I wouldn't be surprised, and that's kind of their way of like schmoozing the players, because honestly, MVP is a quarterback award. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's crazy. It should be MVQ, because I don't know the percentage, but most times MVPs are the quarterbacks.
So let me ask you this, right? So Derrick Henry, another person that killed me literally. This past weekend, he killed me. That 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, destroyed me. But who does Derrick Henry remind you of in the past? Like, what back have we seen? Because I got 2 that's coming to mind.
First person I thought of when I seen Derrick Henry run is Earl Campbell.
I'm going Earl. That's a good one though.
Because Earl Campbell ran with so much force. Like it was that's the first person that I thought of. I don't think Earl Campbell had the speed that I don't think people understand how fast Derrick Henry really is. Because for him to be that big and run away from DBs is crazy.
He is running away from DBs. So I got 2.
Mm-hmm.
I got 2.
Okay.
The last person was AP.
Okay.
And somebody said Steven Jackson. That was my other person.
Really?
Steven Jackson. Yeah, Steven Jackson used to be a beast. He was a beast. He is one of those forgotten backs that Steven Jackson was a problem, man. But we haven't seen that dominance since AP. I want to say the year that AP won the MVP.
Okay.
But I don't know if he was manhandling people like Derrick Henry is manhandling.
Well, see, I think AP is just different. I wouldn't compare those two, because one, Adrian Peters, he's not as big as Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry might be faster, but I still would say if I had to choose the two.
You think Derrick Henry is faster than Adrian Peterson?
It looks like it.
Well, now he's probably faster, but in his prime.
Ooh. Man. I don't know, man. Because he's the thing, and maybe it could be this. It could be something like, and I'll give you a comparison. I'll go to basketball. It could be like remember when Dwight Howard could jump out the gym, right? And he used to jump like he was like 6'10", 6'11", jumping like, and made it jump like, look like he was like 6'4" when he was jumping, because he was that high, and that's kind of like Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is like somebody said, he's like a lineman with running back speed. You know, so I don't know.
I still think I take Adrian Peterson in his prime over Derrick Henry.
All right, so the question was asked, Defensive Player of the Year.
Easy.
Cool.
Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald. I mean, it's unfortunate that he's got to keep getting the award, but I mean, he's had what?
Is he going to get MVP? Because why shouldn't he be? He takes over games, but man, so it's kind of tough, man. Because I had a couple of other people that I was thinking about, right? And,
okay, what other person were you thinking of?
So I was thinking of for the Steelers, T.J. Watt, and I was thinking of Xavier Howard for the Dolphins,
That's a good one.
Because I mean, and people don't talk about. Miami's defense is the reason why they have the record they have, and we're gonna get into the rookie quarterbacks in a second.
We're about to talk about that.
We'll get to that, but I think that Xavier Howard is he is underrated, and I can see it if he doesn't win it this year, because it's like Aaron Donald is like the easy pick. It's like eventually people are going to get tired of him winning Defensive Player of the Year and say, well, he needs to start winning MVP so he can start, so other people can win Defensive Player of the Year. You know, but Xavier Howard and T.J. Watt are my sleepers, but with Aaron Donald, it's like, damn.
See, the other direction I was going with Stephon Gilmore with the Patriots.
No way, not this year. No. Man, listen, I done seen him get beat too many times this year for him to get Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, I guess you got a point. No, you got a point. But yeah, Aaron Donald's he's the easy pick.
And I'm gonna just go from just because what they had in the comments. Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think that's kind of easy though, but it's
Chase Young.
Absolutely,
Chase Young, right?
He's gonna get Defensive Player Rookie of the Year, and it's not even gonna be close. It may be unanimous. It may
I was talking to a good friend of ours, and he was saying that he doesn't live in the DC area. Mm-hmm. So he was saying that one of his homegirls out here said that Chase Young is a bust. And I almost fell out my seat. I was like, what? Who said that? Yeah, he said a girl said that they were calling Chase Young a bust. And I was like, nah, yo. Nah. No. That was a good pickup. That defensive line has put the Washington football team in contention, in playoff contention. I mean, as quiet as it kept, that defense has kept them in games. Alex Smith, will see if he'll start Sunday, but he's went out there. He's held the team together like he normally does. It hasn't been pretty, but he's went in there. He's done the job, man. They're competing. And like you said, you getting turnovers and you getting impact to the game that Chase Young is providing. Anything can happen.
I feel like every time I happen to watch a Washington game, their defense scores a touchdown. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And last week their defense scored twice. So, I mean.
So let's get into this rookie quarterback, right? So Tua had his best game, had his best passing game. They seemed to have cut him loose, and he ended up passing. I believe it was over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. I believe they still lost, but
it was a good game.
Yeah, it was a good game. The first half when Mahomes started throwing those interceptions, I thought that they could get him. But right now, the Chiefs, it's like really watching the Golden State Warriors. It's not a lead that they can't erase.
It's crazy.
And not literally.
That's a great comparison.
Yeah, they are the Golden State Warriors. Not the last year one, but when they had Durant, Steph, to where you knew they were going to win. Like when all those boys was healthy, you knew that that's the championship. Mm-hmm. They'll turn it on, and you can't. And there's nothing you can do to stop them. Okay. Right now, the Chiefs appear to be unstoppable. But I digressed. Back to two.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Okay. So forget the small talk. So we had a conversation last week, and you said that Herbert was better than Tua, and you said Tua is not as good as he said. You said he's not that good. That was what you said. And I said,
stand by that.
And I said you're bugging. I said that Tua wins. One, he's bringing the energy, and he has played less games than Herbert, and there's won more games.
So I will use the same argument and say that Herbert has been more consistent this year. I mean, Tua, really, if you look at it, this was his breakout game. Now he's going up against the Patriots next week, right? So Bill Belichick has, I believe he's like 22-5 against like rookie like quarterbacks with this defense. It's crazy what he does to rookie quarterbacks. Let's see what he does. You know, he made Justin Herbert look stupid. That was Justin Herbert's worst game of the season when he played the Patriots. Mm-hmm. Now, Tua has an opportunity to do something that Herbert couldn't do, right? So if he has a good game or if he has a decent game, then maybe the argument for me shifts a little bit to where it's like, okay, maybe I was wrong. But if you look at this season, he's had that bad game. He had a fair game against Miami. But for the most part, he's been consistent, dead on the money. He's had more success with the long ball. He completes. He's a bad boy, man. Herbert is a bad.
I mean, he completes 66%. Tua completes 62%.
Yeah, but
Tua has 9 interceptions. 9 touchdowns to 1 interception. Herbert has 25 to 10. So that ratio is similar, kind of. It's 15 to 1. No, it was 15 to 1. So I mean, look, man.
I want to tell you, this last game was to me might have been the eye-opening game for Tua. You know what I mean? Because for the first time I saw him to where he let loose. You know, before he was out there checking the ball down, making the safe play.
And who's to say that's not what the coaches are telling him to do? Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. One, Herbert has more weapons, right? I think Herbert has more weapons. Two,
define more weapons or one better weapon.
What? No,
He's got Keenan Allen.
He has Keenan Allen. He has Mike Williams. He has Hunter Henry.
But what has Mike Williams really done this year, though?
I mean,
Mike Williams is a phenomenal talent, but what has he really done this year? If you look it up,
he made some plays, but he's not.
If you look it up, I think he's got close to like 350 yards receiving, maybe 1 touchdown. I mean, so can you really define that as a weapon? His running game has been depleted this year, so he hasn't had a running game. Hunter Henry, Tua's had a worse job with the running game. He's caught a bad break, and that's analysis I've missed is the running game has been completely trashed since Tua's took over that starting role. So that will have an impact on how you play. But Justin Herbert's run game has been terrible too. Hunter Henry,
I agree.
Yeah, Hunter Henry. At this point, Hunter Henry is a name. You know, no, he is a name. I mean, but
I would rather have Gesicki than Hunter Henry now.
Yeah, I mean, this season. Now, if you would have told me at the beginning of the season, it's like, oh yeah, Hunter Henry is solid. But what he's been doing this year, you can't classify him as a weapon. So if you look at it, other than Keenan Allen, it's a toss-up. There's one weapon. Now it's a better weapon than what Tua has, but he didn't have much more.
Well, Mike Williams has 572 receiving yards on 36 receptions.
Okay. So I said 350. I wasn't that far off.
So
how many touchdowns is he has? He has 1 or 2.
Mike Williams 4.
I'm sorry, he has 4 touchdowns. He might have snuck a couple in there.
And here's the thing, Scotty. He can still get to 1,000 yards. I mean, even if he gets to 800, that's the. I'm not gonna go. And we can do that another time. But I'm not gonna go and say that Mike Williams ain't a weapon. 572 yards through 12 games is decent. He's not the number one, so
I would say that 800 yards for a receiver in a 16-game season, that's 50 yards a game. That's third receiver, slot receiver numbers. That's not good enough for a number 2. 800 yards.
It depends on what the other weapons are doing. We know Keenan Allen is going to be. He's one of the.
Keenan Allen been balling.
Yeah, he's one of the top receivers, so he's going to get most of the targets, probably 60% of the targets anyway. With all that being said, I think that Tua is going to be as advertised. I think if you redraft, you still take Tua.
I think it's going to be interesting when the defenses and the teams get film on these guys. I mean, same with Jalen Hurts, right? Okay, he beat the Saints. But if you look at that game plan, it was, a lot of read option stuff. He did a lot of running. I'm not taking anything away from him, but as the season progresses, more is going to be asked of him from a game plan standpoint and from just a preparation standpoint, because once these defensive coordinators start getting film on you, you've got to adjust to that too. But
so you might call me crazy when I say this. You might call me crazy. When I saw that game yesterday, that looked like Russell Wilson's rookie year. He looked like Russell Wilson on
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. He looked like Russ. He looked like a carbon copy of Russell Wilson his rookie year. He wasn't asked to throw the ball down the field. He had a running game, and the Eagles, their running game hasn't been that great because they have had injuries, but the way Miles Sanders ran that ball, he had an 80-yard touchdown run. Jalen Hurts ran the ball, and remember when Russell Wilson's rookie year, he was, and again, it was only one game, but when I saw them doing on Sunday, looked real Russell Wilson-ish, and that doesn't sit well. I mean, that doesn't bode well for Carson Wentz, because remember when Russell Wilson got drafted, the Seahawks had just signed the quarterback from the Packers. Oh my gosh, what is his name? That they had just signed
Matt Flynn.
And they paid him all this money, and Russell Wilson came in there and started. So now that because Jalen Hurts is probably going to start the rest of the season, and if they get to the playoffs with Jalen Hurts, you might as well just send Carson Wentz on his way. They're gonna trade him. They're gonna trade him, and they're gonna get some first round pick, pick up a lineman, and then it's gonna be like, oh boy.
So let me ask you this:
Mm-hmm.
based off of what you've seen this season, you think Carson Wentz is worth a first round pick?
It depends on the team that's trying to trade him.
Any team. Let's go Bears, Jacksonville, the Jets.
Or no, that was the Jets. No, because the Jets are going to get
Lawrence.
Right. If it's a top 10 pick, hell nah. But if it's a mid round and you're like a quarterback away, like the Bears, I think that if the Bears had Wentz, they would be better than what they are. I don't think Wentz is done, not one bit. I think the problem is that that I don't know if it's because they drafted the quarterback and that was in his head, or he's just having an off year.
Nah, I think he just has failed to be held accountable. I think it finally caught up to him. I think he's been towing that line, but for the longest he hasn't had anybody to push him. And I think that when you're not looking over your shoulder and you've got that and you're performing the way that you did, he never thought that they would go in a different direction. Now, like you said too, once he gets back in there, like I think he'll be good. But based off of this year, man, I don't think I would send more than a third rounder, man.
Yeah,
maybe a second rounder.
I think second or third. I don't think they're gonna get a first rounder for him. But if I could get a second round for Wentz, and hey man, and you could get that. I think the main thing is they're trying to get that contract off their books. You know, they still have to pay something, but they won't have to pay $56 million. They'll probably have to pay $25 million or whatever. So it has to be a team that can afford it. But I can see the Bears getting Wentz. I can see the Jags. I can see the Patriots. I think he would be great with the Patriots. If the Patriots sign, get some sort of receiving core, something. Get some sort of threat, a tight end and a receiver. Just get that. Leave the running backs how you have it. If you get a tight end and a receiver, Carson Wentz will be fine.
So let me ask you this. All right, so Cam Newton, what's next for him? I mean, it's pretty bad when you talking about sending Carson Wentz to take his spot. That's bad, bro.
So Cam Newton, man, this is tough, man. Damn. So Cam, who I want, I want them to win out, right? Because I really need them to somehow find a way to win a division. I need them to win out and the Bills to lose out. Or I need the Dolphins to win. I just don't need the Bills to win the division because I don't want to have to pay this money. But I think what's next for Cam, they don't have to cut him. They're just not going to re-sign him. And he doesn't have any help. So the problem is with Cam, he has the problem that Brady had last year. That is the problem that Brady had last year. But where does he go? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Because I wouldn't be surprised if Jameis Winston, leaves New Orleans and goes to New England, and Cam goes and backs up somebody, whoever's going to be the quarterback in New Orleans. He's going to be a backup next year. He's not going to be a starter.
Yeah,
he's not going to be a starter. And it's almost time to say Cam is done. I don't know how comfortable Cam will be in a backup role because he's been the man for so long, and I think that.
I don't think he has a choice.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think that he'll end up being a backup before. I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough.
A good place for Cam, probably the Washington football team.
Somebody just said that too, and I don't think that's a good idea.
Put him back with Rivera. I think
this year would have been a better fit. I think going into next year.
And I want to tell you where I would send Wentz. You're not gonna like this, but I sent him to the Browns to back up and challenge Baker Mayfield.
Hell no. No.
He might be all right with that running guy, and I'll put him there. And that's a solid. That's a solid backup.
Come on, you coming around? Come on.
That's a solid backup.
We've been talking football. We gotta get to the. I'm about to say old school. I can't wait to get back in the studio.
I want to make the winner of the week quick, man.
All right.
No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner.
All right, so my winner of the week this week is J.K. Dobbins, running back for Baltimore. If you don't know, man, he went in for a 2-point conversion, and a player got hurt. And after the game, man, he tweeted that he needs to man up, and basically, he needed to put on his big boy pants. And I thought it was as bad. You don't tweet about somebody that's hurt. You know what I mean? And I get it. He was in the moment or whatever, but that's their livelihood out there, and to just be that tasteless, I didn't have any respect for it. Another reason, too, was, and I'll stay on this because I'm still a little salty. During that 2-point conversion, I ended up losing in the fantasy playoffs when he scored that 2-point conversion. So I was extra tight. So, yeah, you get the winner for 2 reasons. Yeah, Ern, if you out there, man, you know what I'm talking about, too, man. I was hella hot.
Hey, listen, when you playing in fantasy football leagues for money, listen, yeah. So I'll react to that real quick. Who got hurt? Do you remember?
It's Sindinjo hurt
for the Browns.
For the Browns, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So it's a rivalry, and I get it. I get it. It's a rivalry, but that game was that was the game of the year. That was the game of the year. And I think, come on, you coming around with them Browns, aren't you?
I see it.
Forget the loss.
I see it.
Baker Mayfield in that one game, he showed why he was the number 1 pick, and it's almost like you can see it all slowing down for him. And he's just getting it, and it's clicking, and that they made the right decision with the coach this time.
Yeah, that Cleveland team deserves a lot of credit, even though that was a heartbreaking loss. And like you said, had they won that game, they would have been possibly lining up to win the division, and it's still not out the realm. I mean, it's still enough football left to where they possibly can get that division. I think the Steelers get it together. They were in that tough game with Buffalo, so I don't think that's an indicator of how bad it is.
They're overrated. Don't do that. They're overrated. They're overrated. Just go ahead and say it that they're overrated.
I'll say this: they're not the second best team in the AFC, but they're top 4 still.
Okay. Yeah, all right. So, but I say with that game, I was surprised at the points that were scored, but I knew that the Browns offense could put up the points. It was the defense, which I've thought was okay, but they've shown like they've had holes. But my God, I mean, I don't know if it was fake or not. But Lamar Jackson coming back, I guess he was cramping up. And we'll talk about timing. McSorley gets hurt, and immediately Lamar Jackson is back. But that was a hell of a game. And Lamar Jackson, I know people say things about him passing and things like that. He showed on Monday that he may not pass for the big yards all the time, but he is in control of the game tremendously with his legs, with his arm, with everything. Because I mean, at one point he had, I think, 124 yards rushing. When he got out the game, I think he had 124 rushing and like 100 passing or 90 something passing. But they were winning. They were winning, and they were in control of the game. So I liked what I saw from both quarterbacks, and I liked how Baker Mayfield responded after he threw that interception. That interception, they threw the interception, they went down 14 and came right back. They came right back. And one thing I hate is analytics. It happened to work this time with the 2-point conversion. I hate it. When you're down 8, and go for 2. I hate that. But it ended up working for him, and that Justin Tucker guy, man, he may be the best kicker of all time when it's all said and done, man.
Yeah. So you've been watching season basketball?
I just been watching the highlights. I haven't really. I mean, I don't really care for preseason basketball that much.
Well, the season's on the cusp. We are, maybe about 8 days away. James Harden. So,
James Harden looking like Eddie Lacy. James Harden.
Yeah, man. But that's him though. He always looks like that to me.
Not how he looks now. Well, go ahead.
So it was a good article written on ESPN.com, and it talks about James Harden, and it talks about how ultimately he's the driving force behind all decisions, and that the organization, Houston, did whatever they could to bend over backwards to make him happy. And this goes back to the firing of Kevin McHale, getting rid of Dwight Howard, getting rid of Chris Paul, and him and Russell Westbrook supposedly had beef last year.
I heard that was false, though.
When there's smoke, there's fire, man. You know what I mean? Because think about it this way, right? Mm-hmm. Russell Westbrook wanted out of there. So for him, right? If you think about it, yeah, he knows James Harden wants out, but he just played 1 year under Anthony. You know what I mean? The way that he wanted out of there, and from what they're saying is him and Chris Paul were frustrated with the brand of basketball that Harden was playing. That when he didn't have the ball, it seemed like he was disinterested.
Like last night.
Yeah, like last night.
The ball just hit him right in the chest, and he's just looking like he just didn't play. I hate it. Like when they showed that joint last night, I said, "You got to be kidding me." You got to be kidding me.
So right now, do you think a move is going to be made for Harden before this season starts?
By next week?
Yeah.
Sheesh. No. I think he does get traded. I don't think it's gonna happen in a week.
They say right
for 6 days. He ain't getting traded in 6 days.
They say right now the holdup is the Rockets. They say it's a lot of interest, but they're not getting what they want.
And I don't blame them.
Yeah. And a lot of teams are hesitant because he's not on that preferred, his preferred list. Mm-hmm. But so the article too, and I think you would agree, I think most people that are listening to us, it didn't tell us anything that we didn't know. I think everybody kind of knew that James Harden was calling the shots. Is that a big deal in the NBA?
No, because all the stars do it.
Yeah. Okay.
No. It's not a big deal. But I my thing is this. And Kurt said it. You know, they treat him like he's LeBron without the ring. And I get it. Like if you somebody like Giannis, you kind of can see with Giannis that Giannis is like team first. Harden seems me first. And I mean, it is what it is. I think that they put all they chips all in when they got Harden, and it was like, you know, pretty much it was his team when they got him from Oklahoma. They said it was his team, and you could do what you know ultimately do what you want. The thing is, he's gonna go somewhere. And he's not gonna have that. He's not gonna have that option. You know, he's not gonna. He may be a number one, but if you go to Brooklyn, you're not gonna be a number one. You may be the number two, but he's not going to Brooklyn. He's not going to Brooklyn. Me personally, if I was Philly, I would stay. I would keep Ben Simmons, just because he's the type of point guard Doc Rivers likes to have, right? And a point guard that can play defense. He can take it to the rack if he needs to. I don't know. I really don't know how that team would function if they had Harden. Would he be more interested in the game? Because yesterday he looked so disinterested. Well, I don't even know what I was just saying. He looked so disinterested in the game. It was like, yo, why you even got him on the floor?
He's in a tough situation, right? The coach is in a tough situation. He's got to play him. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to be able to get rid of him unless you showcase what he's got going on.
Everybody knows what Harden can do. You don't have to showcase anything. All 30 teams know what Harden can do. Harden has scored 30 points he averaged 30 points the last 3 years. Everybody on this godforsaken earth that knows anything about basketball knows what Harden can do.
So let me ask you this, though. So as a new coach that gets your first head coaching job, do you try to make a statement that you're going to hold James Harden accountable?
No.
Or do you just kind of shut up and just kind of go through the motions?
I don't think it's a shut up and go through the motions. But we don't know what conversations that him and Harden has had. He said it multiple times that they've spoken and that they're good, and we can only go by his word. And I think that if they're having conversations, then it is what it is. I will say the media, they could be making more of the situation than what it really is, because I heard, when they said they posted something saying that Harden still wants to trade, the trade for John Wall didn't sway his or whatever, he still wanted out, and I was like, all right, but Harden hasn't spoken to the media, so we really don't know. But in the coach's case, I think that he can what he should be doing what he's exactly doing, answering the questions the right way, and going about the business the way he's doing.
Harden is answering the questions the right way.
I'm talking about the coach. Harden has.
I was about to.
No, the coach.
He talked to the media. He talked to the media today.
All right, well, I missed it because.
Oh man, it was terrible.
Yeah, he didn't want to.
It was entertaining. But yeah, he didn't answer a whole bunch of questions. They asked him about the trade. Does he still have that? Of course, he didn't really comment about that. They asked him why he wasn't wearing the mask and what he was doing out in Houston and Vegas. Mm-hmm. So he was out there training. It's like, yeah, that's what they said. It was like, yo, that's what you. He said, yeah, I was out there training. They was like, well, why wouldn't you come back to camp? He was like, well. And
this is the part where he's just kind of showing is I don't want to say it's selfish because I don't think this is a money thing. And you know what I'm saying? I don't think this is a money thing. He they offered him, $100 million extension for 2 years. I think this is more of you don't have the same control that you had the previous 5, 6, 7 years. And that may be the bigger problem. He doesn't have the control. Daryl Morey's not there anymore. Mike D'Antoni's not there anymore. So yeah, he doesn't have the control. This coach, this is his first time. He's been an assistant for 20 years. This guy may turn out to be a Phil Jackson. You just never know. You never know. But for him not even give it a shot is like, golly, like, what are you doing? So,
well, I think you touched on something, and I think somebody put it in the comments. I didn't see it, but the fact that he's got that sort of treatment, and he's not LeBron or KD, and he hasn't brought that level of championship. He hasn't brought that level of play to Houston, even though he's been phenomenal as an individual talent. I wonder how much that rubbed guys in that locker room the same way, because there's nothing worse than you're trying to compete, you're trying to get better, and then you've got somebody that the coach isn't holding accountable, or you got somebody that the front office listens to a little bit more. And guys play along with that stuff for a while, but eventually it's going to come to a boiling point. And I'm wondering if that's the reason why they can never get over the hump is because of that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's been held accountable since he's been there. But I do. At the end of the day, he's going to get traded. I'll be surprised if it's before the season starts. But by January, February, I don't know, man. Because I think it's one of two things that could happen. I think the season could start, he's on there, and they go on a tear. and they go on a tear. He's like, oh, he realizes what he has and is like, well, let's try it out. Or, well,
go ahead.
Or it could be a disaster from the beginning. They're probably arguing in practice, or maybe not even arguing, but they're not meshing, they're not gelling, and after 10, 11 games, it looks like, oh, this is a disaster. We got to blow this crap up, and then they're gonna, he's gonna be the first to go. So they just gotta. Unfortunately, the Rockets are gonna end up not getting what they really want for him.
So I'll tell you, Steph Curry looks phenomenal.
Right.
He's going to come back and he's going to ball.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers got this guy named Talen Horton Tucker. They call him THT.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where they found this guy at, but he can ball. He is a problem. I did not see that coming. LaMelo Ball is going to be a lot better than I think a lot of people think. That boy can pass, and I never really. You see him shooting, and you see the smoothness in his game, but I didn't realize that he could pass like that. That he's got court vision. That. Toppin, the guy for New York, Obi Toppin, he is going to be a problem too. He looks pretty good. Him and Kevin Knox looked good the other night.
Mm-hmm. Cleveland
is my sleeper. They're not going to win that's my sleeper playoff team.
You think Cleveland's going to make it to the playoffs? Oh,
Cleveland with Drummond, with Kevin Love, Sexton takes the next step this year. The last 10 games that Sexton balled out, he was averaging over 20 points, and I believe he was averaging like 7 or 8 assists last year. I think the guy Garland takes the next step. That backcourt reminds me of, it's premature, but I'm just going to speak it into existence. It reminds me of Dame Lillard and CJ McCullough when they were a lot younger.
Okay.
And the small forward that they got, what is his name? He fits. That team has JaVale McGee. They went back and they got Deladova. Don't be surprised if they get challenged for the AC. For the AC, they can make the AC. They can make some noise. The East between Cleveland, the Wizards, and Orlando and Atlanta. That bottom, and then you got Brooklyn. That's going to be a lot better. Gordon Hayward is already hurt again. He's day to day, but my God, Boston. And then Milwaukee, even though they lost the other night, Holiday didn't look bad.
I've never said that before. Let me rephrase that. They're gonna make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. They're gonna make it to the Eastern Conference. Milwaukee is going to the Eastern Conference Finals, and don't be surprised if Giannis wins MVP for the third straight year.
So this is what Milwaukee needs to do. I want to say it first. I've been watching them all preseason.
Mm-hmm.
They're one piece short. I can't put
to win a championship. They could beat Brooklyn. They could beat Miami. They could beat Indiana. They could beat Boston. Yes, they can. Yes, all right.
They won't beat Brooklyn unless they make a move. They have to add one more piece. It doesn't have to be a superstar, but it's something. I can't put my finger on it. I do agree that Holiday, Milton, and Giannis, that's an improved three, right? But they're missing something else. I can't put my finger on it because it's too early, but they're going to have to make a move. It's not enough. It is not enough. It's not enough, man.
So that's your sleeper. That's your sleeper. Cleveland to make the playoffs is your sleeper. All right. We'll see. I'll put a star by that. Cleveland to make the playoffs. That's gonna be
Dallas has a lot of interesting pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I think this year they're going to push a little bit. The Warriors look good. I don't think they beat the Lakers. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they look good enough to beat
the Lakers.
Nah. No.
Nobody in the West.
I don't see it. I really don't. It's some teams that can compete. I think Steph will reclaim himself as an all-star, and he'll remind people how good he is. I mean, he started off hot last. I mean, that might have been. Yeah, it was last night.
Yeah.
They ended up losing that game to Sacramento, though. Some of their players, I don't know if they'll be a playoff team, but they'll come. Denver, the Joker, he's picked up right where he's left off.
That's all good and dandy, and we can make these teams feel good. None of them are beating the Lakers.
Nah.
They're not beating the Lakers. Maybe next year. It ain't gonna be this year. I'm sorry. I don't see it. You know what? I can see. You probably gonna call me crazy. You probably gonna say I'm a homer. I can see a rematch. I can see a finals rematch.
The Heat?
Ain't that who played in the finals last year?
Yeah, I think that's.
And this is why. You made that same sound in July when I
sure did. but
it's definitely gonna be tougher. I think that there is a move that they're gonna make. They're gonna make some sort of splash. They're gonna make some sort of splash by the trade deadline or by the time they take that break.
They have to.
They're gonna make a move. But I think that it's so I do predict that they're gonna start off slow. And I wouldn't even be surprised. So the reason why the Lakers won't start off slow is because all those new additions that they got. But Miami's damn near the same exact team, and they just played 2 months ago. Like they were in a brutal, series. So I think they're gonna start slow. And once the guys start getting in the rhythm of playing, then they'll be fine. But I think Brooklyn's gonna start. They're gonna start. They're not gonna start fast. They're not gonna start slow. They're gonna be right in the middle, and then they're gonna. Once that break comes, I think the break is gonna help a lot of teams, and then we're gonna get into that final stretch and see what happens.
I think Brooklyn is going to be the number 1 seed. I haven't forgot about Toronto, but I think Miami, they'll be there. But I kind of put them in the same boat as Milwaukee. I just don't. It's not enough. I see them. They were 5th seed last year. They'll be Miami. Yeah, when they went to the playoffs, they were 5th seed. So this year. They'll probably be a 4th, maybe a 3rd.
Let me tell you what Miami's missing. They're missing another big. They should have went and got they should have tried to get Drummond, and they're missing a point guard like a Chris Paul type. If they would have got Chris Paul and Drummond.
So but that's a lot though.
What you mean?
Like that's a lot to ask for. I mean, the
reason why I say Drummond is because they do need some more. That was their problem against the Lakers. They didn't have enough bigs for the Lakers, right? They don't necessarily need Drummond, but they need like even a Tristan Thompson, somebody that can.
That's actually a good observation, and that's who they probably should go get because. It's going to be a logjam between JaVale McGee, Kevin Love, Andre Drummond, and they still got Tristan Thompson.
Well, and no, Tristan Thompson's not there.
And then he's with Boston.
Yeah,
he with Boston.
So Andre Drummond just got new money. Man, it's gonna be, but they need some depth in the front court. I think that's the problem, and they need a point guard because I know, yes, Dragic he's a vet and he's a tough guy, boom, 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 but he ain't no Chris Paul. He ain't no, they need a legit point guard.
He's a backup point. He's a backup point.
Right,
he can challenge for the 6th man.
Yeah, Kendrick Nunn is not the guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's. I mean, we're gonna see, and this because there's still gonna be moves to be made. I think that a lot of these teams are just preparing for. They're just trying to get the season started, and then it's gonna be like, all right, let's take off, and we'll see some more moves. But to answer your question from before, Harden is not gonna get traded in the next 6 days.
Okay. I mean, I agree with you. I just wanted to get your take on it. I really, I don't know where he could go that he's going to be happy and is going to give the Rockets what they're looking for.
Right. They're not going to get what they're going to have to take a bunch of role players and some picks. It's going to be hard to get another superstar. I guess Ben Simmons, but if I was Doc Rivers or whoever, I wouldn't do it.
So this is the thing that Harden has in his advantage, right? So right now, a lot of the free agents have signed their max deals. Like Paul George is off the table, Giannis is off the table, LeBron, Anthony Davis, like all those guys have bam. So if you're looking at a free agent out there that you could still possibly sign for the future, Harden is the only one that's really left. That you yeah, he's got 3 years on his deal, but he's the only guy that you could probably get, and then you could sign him long term. You know what I mean? Like you could sign him for even longer. So I think a lot of teams are interested in that. But and I think, like you said, everybody knows what James Harden could do. Is this, are you willing to commit to that brand of basketball?
Right.
And that's a tough commitment.
Yeah, man. So we gonna see, man, and it's gonna be interesting. Interesting. Real quick, I know we didn't talk about it. Real quick before we get out of here, the college football playoffs, they came out with their latest, their last poll before the selection show next week, and they had
Florida,
Alabama. Yeah, Alabama was 1, Notre Dame was 2, Clemson was 3, Ohio State was 4. I don't think many people had an issue with that. I think the bigger issue was Florida losing a terrible loss to a bad LSU team and only dropped 1 spot. It was really weird, man. That's who should have got the win of the week. The committee. The committee should have got the win of the week because that was terrible, man.
It was, but it's been consistent with what they've been doing all year. All year, it doesn't matter how many games you play. It just matters what they think. And ultimately, you've got a lot of teams out there that have been punished. I mean, you look at Cincinnati. Cincinnati has done their job, but because they're not a big name, they can't get in there. But what's interesting is what they're setting up. If Florida goes to the SEC championship game and they're able to beat Alabama, then the storyline and the narrative changes. And then you kind of put Florida in there, and then you've got that group in the 4 people. So what the committee is looking at, what I think they're looking at is they're looking down the road. But where they're missing the boat is that right now, your record is what it is, right? But now this year they've kind of thrown that out the window. It's like, okay, you have to pass the eye test from us to determine if you're good enough to be matched up with this team. I mean, because if you look at it, right, Ohio State, they've gotten a pass this year. You know what I mean? Yeah, they've got 5 victories, and yeah, it's been the COVID thing or whatever, but they've been bending over backwards to make sure that Ohio State gets the opportunity to compete. And I'm not saying that that's the wrong thing. I think most people watching this or following college football would agree that Ohio State is the top 4. But Kenny Herbstreit, he brought this up, and I agree with him. If it wasn't Ohio State or Alabama they would not be making these exceptions for this team, or maybe possibly Clemson too.
Yeah, if it was Northwestern that was 5-0, they wouldn't have tried to change the rule. They wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Now I will say if it was Michigan, they probably would have because of the money situation and the type of money that Michigan draws. But no, I agree 100%, man. It's crazy, you know, how good they want Florida to be. I'm like, come on, man. Like Florida's okay, you know, but yeah, but I guess you kind of build up your equity, and those schools have built up so much equity, and they make a lot of money. So I understand, but God, it ain't right. But it's college football, and what would you do? I mean, what can you do? So
now I just think overall, and we're going to talk about this next week because we got to get into it. COVID has definitely impacted college sports.
Right.
We really, I mean, the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, they've had hiccups, but they've been able to like overcome their hiccups.
Right.
You know, without really impacting everything too much. College football and college basketball, man, it's like they're out there holding on, and it's just it might have just been a better thing to do to just not play college sports this year, and just. But we're gonna talk about that next week. Definitely got to get into that. But yeah, it's been just painful watching them drag through this season.
It's tough, man. So, all right, before we get out of here, shout out to Tara Vanderdeer. How you say that?
Don't give me the line.
Vanderveer.
I just know it's the Stanford coach.
Yeah, Coach Tara Vanderveer. She passed last night. 1,099 victories. Probably gonna get 1,100 this weekend, but it's crazy, man. Because you see, it's like, damn, you can't even have your family there to celebrate. You know, it's just like, God. But that's just the way that's what it is now. But shout out to her. You know, last night you kind of see like all the athletes that she coached. It's like, golly, they like Hall of Famers all over the place. So yeah, man. But I guess we probably should have talked about that more. And you know, but it is what it is. But let's get out of here. It's time to go. But this is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
It's your boy Scotty B.
Out.
Peace.
Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes. You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com.